I'm going to be like this, for the most part, behind like this.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sure.
Like that.
Ready? Stand by, guys, whenever Steve starts.
Good.
Just put that intro up there. There you go. Okay. Michael, from what I read in the Know Your Candidates questionnaire you filled out, you have quite the amazing story. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, Steve, thank you. I was born in Russia without arms because of the Chernobyl nuclear incident, and I use my feet like you use your hands. I'm an avid cyclist. In 2020, I biked 10,868 miles. I learned at a very young age that the only person who's going to fight for you is you. And I've been fighting for my rights ever since. And I want to take that fighting spirit, wit, and grit to Salem to be able to represent Oregonians across the state, Democrat and Republican. I currently work for Care Oregon as a healthcare customer service member, and I take calls from Medicare and Medicaid patients, and I welcome them to the plan. And so I am very on the front lines of the healthcare industry, and one of the things I want to do as governor is extend Oregon Health Plan to all Oregonians, regardless of income or immigration status. I'm also a renter, and despite Care Oregon's rather comfortable salary that they give us, I'm still living paycheck to paycheck because the costs of living are just too high. Rents are sky high, healthcare costs are sky high, the inflation is sky high, and as governor, I will be tackling all of these issues. I am the everyday Oregonian citizen, and I'll be fighting for you in Salem, and I would appreciate your vote for me on May 17th.
You know, Michael, politics can certainly be a tough job. I'm sure you're aware of that. So why decide to run for the state's top job as governor?
Yes, great question. A lot of things that I want to do, like rent control and expanding healthcare to all, can only be done at the state level. Obviously, I could have run for state representative, state senator, but you're only one out of hundreds of people. As governor, you are in charge of an executive branch, and you can really spearhead the movement. I can use the bully pulpit of the press and push Salem to actually do what it's been talking about doing. They've been talking about campaign finance reform for years and years, and they don't do it. They talk about, affordable healthcare and housing. They don't do it. Tina Kotek, one of my main challengers, she was Speaker of the House for 9 years. Why didn't she make Oregon the first state in the country to have minimum wage at $15 an hour? Why did she not institute a living wage of $25 an hour at all companies who are reporting billion-dollar quarterly profits? These are all things I will be doing. I will not be sitting on my hands doing nothing, not like Tina or Tobias. I will be working hard for Oregonians, and I believe I'm the best fit for it because of my lived experience. I am not a politician. I am not a career government official like my opponents. I am you.
Michael, let me ask you this. Lots going on in the state right now, as you well know. What do you consider the number one challenge facing Oregonians as we speak?
Housing. Housing, housing, and housing. There are too many people who are homeless, and then there are too many people, myself included, who are dangerously close to not being able to afford our housing because rents are so high, and we have got to lower them. We have got to expand supply. There are so many vacant buildings and properties that I bike by just in downtown Portland, and as governor, I will be using eminent domain and seizing them and being able to convert them to affordable housing units. One of my opponents has proposed a vacancy fee, which I do agree with, but we need housing now, and we have got to lower housing. I also want to lower the cost associated with moving in. When you apply for apartments, it's $45 to $65 an application. Those add up very, very quickly. Moving from one apartment to another, you have to either rent a car or a truck to be able to move. That is very costly. Then, of course, you have to pay first month's rent and last month's rent with a security deposit. Most of us Oregonians don't have $3,000-4,000 laying around so we can just move in. And so moving into an apartment alone is very cost prohibitive. So staying in an apartment is very expensive. Finding an apartment is very expensive. And I want to make housing a human right and add that to our state constitution because everybody deserves a home they can call theirs.
Well, let's talk about the homeless situation in the state of Oregon right now. What do you do to address that issue, which is obviously a very big one in our state right now, Michael?
Yes, it really is. And it all stems, or most of it stems down to behavioral health. On my first day as governor, I will be declaring the addictions crisis a state emergency, and I will be merging the various departments that are supposed to be working together to help this cause as one. I'll be appointing a single person, a director, who will oversee all of these agencies, like Measure 110 Accountability Office, the Alcohol and State Board. We need to have them all working together. We also need to start thinking of a home mentality, not a shelter mentality, because too many homeless people do not want to live in shelters or transitional housing. They actually want housing. And so we need to find temporary housing in the meantime, but also find permanent housing. And this is where eminent domain seizures will play a crucial role. And we also need to overhaul our zoning laws, because they are unfair and they favor single occupancy homes when we need multi-unit dwelling homes and other outside the box ideas. And as governor, I will listen to all ideas: Republican, Democrat, conservative, green, independent, unaffiliated. I want to hear everyone's ideas so we can come up with a plan for all of Oregon.
What will you do, Mike? I'd like to end with this question for all the candidates. What will you do as governor to improve the lives of Oregonians?
Well, obviously lowering rents will be a huge benefit. What I want to do is lower rents for middle income to low income tenants by $100 at least within my first 100 days. That will be one of the largest stimuluses ever given to Oregonian citizens. I want to expand Oregon Health Plan to all Oregonians so everybody has affordable health care and people are not paying tens of thousands of dollars. Patrick Starnes, one of my opponents, his deductible is like almost $13,000. I mean, it's just absurd. We need to be able to make the economy work for us, not just the 1% and the well-off. And so by lowering rents, making healthcare affordable to all, and also giving immigrants without documentation full state residency rights so they can live their life, pay taxes, and participate in the economy without the constant worry of deportation. I am a governor that will be equal for all, wants to help everybody. I would love to shake everyone's hands. Unfortunately, I will never be able to do that. I'm a bit short-handed in that department, but please do not let that stop you from voting for me. I am inspiring, I am aspiring, and I will work for you and answer to you. I am one of the few candidates in the voter pamphlet who gave my phone number and my website on there because I want to be reached. I want you to be able to contact me, and please do if you read the voter pamphlet, because I would love your support and your votes.
Michael Trimble, one of 15 Democrats running for governor in Oregon's May 17th primary. Good to hear from you. Thanks for coming on the program, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. With Oregon's May primary just 16 days away,
Hang on a second.
made it easier for you to KATU, for you. Okay, let me try that again.
Okay, are you sure?
Kate, how about this? Let's try